So, Brazil played our little brothers to the north in American football, and to give the best analogy I can, Canada did the equivalent of taking Brazil to the trashiest Taco Bell in town and ordering them a buffet where they slipped laxatives into every single one of the beefy 5-layer burritos that Brazil ate. Then they took Brazil home and rolled them up inside of a rug, slipping the restricted body a coffee enema. They then proceeded to beat the shit out of them like a filthy piñata for 2.5 hours, with every single hit resulting in a shit fountain that from a distance could only be mistaken for a small geyser. The opening kickoff happens and Brazil is able to move the ball with the same efficiency of a sloth running a 400 relay. They are forced to punt, then the stream glitches as it cuts forward 2.5 minutes and oh my god, it's already 14-0. It's also worth noting that this game was played with 12-minute quarters, so be prepared, and when the stream finally gets back to capture the play, it's an interception at the 25-yard line. Luckily there was an offside, so Brazil was actually able to get some good chunk yardage, and I was thinking, okay, hey, maybe they can actually play a ball game and it's going to stay close. But I was wrong. I was so wrong. Brazil was forced to punt, and in the school of Murphy's Law, it goes over the punter's head, where Canada gets it in a little swing pass later, and an ass-clutching fumble, they find themselves in scoring position. But on the next play, the quarterback is rolling out and the scoring lane is so open, he actually has decision paralysis. Do you run to the pylon yourself? Do you pitch it to the running back or dump it off to the wideout who has a step on his man? You can see his brain churning, which is the last thing that should happen in a game. But this game can have nothing go wrong for the Maple Leafs, so the QB keeps it and shuffles in for a score. Brazil tries once again to move the ball, but a theme you're going to see is that the offensive line, and I'm going to be polite when I say this, has room to grow in both skill and stature. In less polite terms, I have seen gangbangs have less penetration than what is allowed by the blue and white today, and it only gets worse as the game goes on. And on the flip side, you could have had a kid in a wheelchair toting the rock for Canada, and he still probably would have averaged around 4 yards a carry, thanks to the dominance of their offensive line. Now, Brazil's running back Lopez was actually a pretty shifty athlete, but there's only so much one single person can do. Brazil also had some guys early in the game that weren't afraid to go and make some open field tackles, which is a good sign for the overall health of the team, but 28 points in 12 minutes seemed to be demoralizing them a bit, and the Canadian team early in the second quarter decides to give their kicker's leg a bit of a break by allowing him to hit pooch kicks, which also hurts Brazil's field position as the kickoff return scheme left something to be desired, and that thing to be desired was blocking. I desired blocking because there was none. And then the game just kept going, and you got a sense of how painfully dominant the Canadian side of the ball was over Brazil. I mean, they both had athletes, but the Canadians' X factor was just mass. They had more players, they had bigger players, and they wore out the Brazilian team to the tune of 55-0 by halftime, and the end of the game, it was a whopping 110-0, as Canada was scoring in every possible way. A one kickoff return they had, ran it back for 6. Fumble returns, pick sixes, rushing touchdowns, some passing touchdowns late in the game. And you know what? It was Brazil's first time in the tournament. And I'm sure that is probably some of these guys' last time coming to a tournament like this. But good gracious, Canada, next time, just show some mercy to these guys. Holy crap.
Maybe a little tap on the leg as they put in the end zone, Charles Fortin.